Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to Transfer Talk. We've got a done deal for you. Obviously, it was done last night, but it was a little bit engaged last night, so we couldn't get the show rolling as we normally do. Cruncher, we're normally pretty instant with them, but we've here
mine was at the Budgie AGM. Everybody
was at a Budgie AGM.
That was where he was. How was it anyway?
It was fantastic. I was stood talking, and my phone was on the table, and it was just kept vibrating every 5 seconds. People going, "We've signed so and so. What do you think?" Blah blah blah. I was like, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about because the signal was so patchy. But here we are to look at the signing of Dominic Thompson from Brentford on loan. Moved quickly, Crunch. It has to be said. Obviously, KVY suspended for one game. Matt Penny is either on the grass recovering or is still injured. So they've moved fast to secure a left back, which only a month ago was playing against Raheem Sterling and Man City.
Yeah, I like these transfers when they just come out the blue and they hit you just like that. You have had no rumours, and nice, then bang. But it was massive shout out to the town admin because they're doing overtime this season. The interesting thing, I was watching Kieran McKenna's interview for the game, and then they had one today that was on there. When he was talking about Dominic Thompson, it was obviously he'd signed yesterday afternoon because it was done at the same time. I think they just hold it now till probably everyone's home from work, and then drop it about 7:30, 8 o'clock. But yeah, admin, top work. Well done, boys.
Absolutely. But what do you make of the actual, signing of the player? We've got a reporter who's going to join us very shortly to tell us the lowdown and what we can expect from Mr.
I don't
Thompson.
know. Listen, I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about him. I remember him from the game when Swindon played.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat us 3-2, and they said he got 3 assists, but I don't really think I'm including the Scott Twine 35-yard pile driver because he just laid it into him. Are we classing that as an assist nowadays? Are we?
Technically, it is.
It was impressive that day. He's played in this league. He's obviously got talent come through at Arsenal since he was 12. But let's see what he can do, and I think he'll probably be in the lineup tomorrow.
He's got the most impressive hair of the squad. It has to be said.
Great hair,
absolute amazing hair.
Although little tips, he just needs to change them blue, like David Johnson when we were at Wembley back in 2000.
Yes, absolutely. But I pride myself. Granted, it's self-described, but I pride myself on a quality hairdo, and I was very jealous.
Well, I did. Was it you who said that you're going to grow your hair out if Wes Burns keeps banging these goals in? I want to see it. I want to see your hair when it's like Wes Burns flowing locks.
I did say if he, I tell you, I might set a little bit of a bet up if he gets us promoted of some description or something like that. But it's a really good signing. I like it. I'm looking forward to hearing what the players. As like you, I'm very much like you. I do not know a great deal about the player. I just know what things like SofaScore have told me. I know he got man of the match against Man City, which is huge. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the reporters got to say. But obviously, another rumor doing the rounds this morning, being cold water's being poured on it, if you will, by a couple of reporters. Is the lad from Fleetwood who's on my shopping list?
Good player, very good player.
That's what I was going to ask you. Let's live in the world of where there's smoke, there's fire. So, would you be interested for what was nearly £1 million, Jay Mattetti?
Yeah, he's out. I think he's out of contract, Martin. He's got 6 months left. So I would have thought Fleetwood are going to be looking to cash in, aren't they? Really, Maldini.
Yes, mate. What a great player he was. But yeah, you're right. For me, I'd love him. He was on my shopping list as a buy and then a loan back option to keep him playing. Because I can't see him coming in and playing ahead of Morsey. But with their smoke, there hopefully is fire in this case. Is that what you feel?
when it was on Sky Sports, wasn't it? And then obviously Andy Warren poured cold water on it. But let's just wait and see. We've got a few days left of the window. But like I say, I think Fleetwood, he's probably not going to sign a new contract because he can go to a better team than Fleetwood with respect to them. So if he comes in, good signing. But we just have to wait and see.
He fits the mold because obviously he's young, developing. And then back to Dominic Thompson.
His profile, that's the word. And that's what Kieran used about Thompson profile.
This is where I was going back to.
What it meant.
You see,
so,
we've been working together quite a while now. You see, we know where each other is going. So I was going to go back to Dominic and that profile because he fits the profile, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And is there, obviously, we'll ask the reporter, but is there any chance that maybe this could be a permanent? What's the contract situation? Do you know?
He's out. He wasn't. I think they've taken up the 12-month option, but I would have thought that's just to safeguard the club, isn't it? So it's a bit like us when we gave Caden Jackson another 12 months. It safeguards the club, and then you could get a little bit of money for them further down the line. So look, we just have to wait and see how he gets on. I like that McKenna, obviously, because he was at Man United, but before that he was at Spurs, and he said he knows him. He's coached at these academies. He's played against these teams, Martin, and he'll have a long list of players that he knows about. He's clued up. He knows his stuff, and we're not living in the dark ages anymore. We're moving forward.
No. And obviously, if it was to become a permanent deal, he could, of course, go to one of our beautiful corporate partners there, Woodpecker Mortgage and Protection Experts, to get maybe a first-time buyer's mortgage, or maybe a remortgage. But if you are at home and you're looking for a mortgage yourself, Woodpecker Mortgage and Protection, they are the experts. Graham is a huge Town fan, so you'll be in safe hands with him. Call 01636 337 447. But please do not forget your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. Woodpecker Mortgage and Protection. They are the experts. Just like this chap here is the expert, we hope, on Dominic Thompson. So, Cruncher, please introduce him.
So, last night, I said to you, I'll try and get someone from Brentford on. I'd sent about 10 direct messages, and I contacted Brentford FC News on Twitter. Give him a shout out. Give him a follow, guys, if you're on social media. And Uzi's going to come on. He's going to tell us all about Dominic Thompson, what we can expect from him, what sort of player he is, and if there's any hope that maybe he might end up a permanent signing. Who knows? So welcome.
Some would say, because some would say you were a busy bee, right? Bum.
Yeah, very good, Mike. Well done.
Uzi, welcome in. How you doing?
I'm very good, guys. Thank you for having me.
No. Thank you for appearing, and thank you for cracking a wry smile with my stupid pun there. I really appreciated that because nobody else seemed to like it. But thanks for appearing. I know it's a Friday night. We're not going to keep you too long. Dominic Thompson, then on loan, played in the Premier League only last month, albeit 2 occasions. Talk to us about him. What can we expect? What sort of player is he, etc.?
Look, he very much remains one as a work in progress. He had that loan spell, as you mentioned, at Swindon Town last year. He didn't do too badly from what some of their fans said. Of course, you mentioned ironically made his debut against Ipswich and ended up getting three assists. But I mentioned I was asked how well do you think he will do? I think playing for a big club like Ipswich in League One, I think will do him like the world of good. They're in a good place in League One at the minute. They're fine for a playoff place. They're not too far from that. They're in a good position. And realistically, I think it's around his level at the moment. If he makes a really good impact, helps them finish as high as they can, get them into the playoffs, maybe beyond that into the Championship. Who knows what his long-term future could be. I think it's a good level for him, as I said, because I think if playing at the high end of League One, we've seen players like James Justin. He was at Luton Town a few years ago, got promoted with them. He went to Leicester City, was absolutely brilliant before his injury. Another one, Dan Burn. He was at Wigan when they went up a few years ago. He ended up going to Brighton. Been very good there. I think Newcastle have had a bid turn down for him. So just goes to show you how well, Dele Alli, a more high profile one. And,
MK Dons, obviously, absolutely.
Okay, yeah.
Great shout.
So yeah, many. We've seen many of these players, make the step up from League One to the Premier League. So, if Thompson has a good spell at Ipswich, and obviously, I really hope he does. Then maybe he can come back. He comes back to Brentford, hopefully a more better and improved player. And I think playing in League One will really do him the world of good, and hopefully toughen him up for some big challenges in the Premier League.
Yeah. Where's he at currently in terms of, is he a flying winger? Is he more of a defensive winger? Because we've got Matt Penny at the football club, who I'm not going to think for a minute you know who he is, but he can't defend to save his life, but he can get forward. Is Dominic Thompson a more traditional fullback, a more modern fullback? What sort of player is he when he's playing? Who's he?
Oh, he's actually quite the opposite of what you've described Penny as. He's actually more of a probably more defensive fullback, if I'm honest. He does like to get forward, but we haven't really seen like the best. I mean, he's actually he has got forward a fair few times. He's played in that left wing back role because as Brentford play a 3-5-2.
As do we, yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself is quite an advantage for him. Whenever he has played in that position. So that will serve him well should he get the nod to start. I think going forward, I was asked. I think probably one of his maybe weaknesses is probably going forward. But I think given the fact that he's dropped down into League One, you'll have the golfing quality. Obviously we all know it's quite huge playing in a league where isn't as fast paced. You have quite a lot of time on the ball. He'll be able to. I think he'll be able to like improve his attacking game quite relatively fast. And I think playing under a manager like McKenna, who is obviously very highly rated. I think he's he could be the guy to get his career on track, because we haven't to be honest, because us Brentford fans we haven't been able to see the best of him, and that's not his fault at all. When you've got Rico Henry in front of you, you're going to find it very hard you're going to find it very hard to get in the team. So like I said, I hope this loan really works out for him. He's playing, as I say, he's playing for a big club. So I wish him and obviously, everyone at Ipswich the best. Hopefully a very good season. Hopefully who knows, maybe a place in the Championship next year.
Before I hand over to Rich and let him have his side, is he a player that Brentford fans are eager about because he's on the periphery and they feel that he could break in, or is he one of a number of youngsters that he could, but he's probably not going to? What's the feeling of the fans about him?
To be honest, I think he falls into the latter.
Okay.
I think there are. It's not really a case of him. It's not the case. It's not. I mean, look, he's not disliked by fans at all. It's just that he hasn't really. I think he's been at the club for I think 3 years now, and he hasn't really. It's been very hard for him to get game time, as due to like Rico Henry's great form, and of course the loan spell he had at Swindon as well. I think they'll be keeping. I think fans will be keeping a very close eye on him. I think because look, he won. He got a lot of praise for his performance against Man City. When you're playing against that City team, you have got to be on your A game, and he was that night. Yeah. He was up against João Cancelo, and I think Gabriel Jesus was playing on the right. The attack chopped and changed, but he was predominantly up against João Cancelo, who has been João Cancelo. Yeah, he was very he's been one of the best Premier League right backs this year, and you got to be one has to be on their A game, not just against him, but just the Pep Guardiola team in general, and he was absolutely brilliant. And also before that, it was a game at Brighton, which ultimately that was a defeat, but I think that was his first game in first Premier League start and his first game I think in like 3 months, and he certainly didn't disgrace himself by any stretch of the imagination. I thought he was all right. He didn't look out of place. He looked he looked all right. There were unfortunately, it wasn't the greatest of debuts, as unfortunately it was a loss. But
lost 2-0, yeah.
It was been a very depressing night. but yeah.
but him personally didn't disgrace himself. Came up with some credit.
No, certainly not. He was up against another top class right back in Tarek Lamptey, who is who's certainly certainly one of Brighton's best players. So he's come against two of the best right backs in this league, and he's held his own against both of them. So I don't think there's I think if anything, he goes to Ipswich in a good state. It's a fresh start for him. He'll be hopefully fingers crossed for both Brentford and Ipswich fans' sake. He does get game time every week. He's starting. They're in a good position, as I said, and who knows? I think it's I think maybe having that pressure as well when you're playing, see, for a club of Ipswich's stature, especially in League One. I think he'll feel like all right, this is right. I've really got to dig in here.
Yeah, we're doing well. Certainly stat wise, Rich came through both games really well. Passing achievement was quite high. Had a couple of shots, but according to the stats, so he comes through that, and he's looked good in the Premier League. And you've heard Izzy there. Anything else come to your mind that you want to know?
It's interesting, Izzy. I've said on here before about when we've loaned some of our players out. It all depends on getting the right fit for the player, because it's no good when these young players go out to a club, they're sort of in and out of the team, then they're on the bench. I think he's going to benefit by he's going to come in. This has been a bit of a problem position sort of all season, hasn't it, Martin? The left-hand side for us.
You can say that again, yeah.
We've had Hayden Coulson, we had on loan from Middlesbrough, he's been injured a couple of times. We've had Matt Penny, we've had Bailey Clement. So I think there's a position here where we've got 18 games to go. Hopefully we might have a couple in the playoffs. Fingers crossed. But he's going to benefit by playing week in, week out. It's going to benefit him. It's going to benefit you as a football club. But it's just interesting. I see yesterday, Izzy, that he'd signed a contract extension for another 12 months. Is that just to sort of cover Brentford, that if he does impress, could it be turned into a permanent, or is he part of the future of Brentford going forward, or would he be sort of requirements?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think it's just purely down to the fact I just don't think Brentford wanted to lose him for nothing. I think they signed him for I think £1.5 million, rising up to I think 3 million. So I think honestly they only extended his deal just so they could, as you said, maybe get some money for him. Whether Ipswich wanted to make the deal a permanent one, should he do well there, or should he get offers from anywhere else, maybe in the Championship if if they don't get there, and if he does impress in League One with Ipswich. I think it's an interesting one. I think maybe it's just when you're playing at the top end of League One, as I mentioned the players earlier, if you do really well in particularly in that area, the chances of you being recalled back to a Premier League team is perhaps maybe relatively, maybe like not high, but not like a total write-off. It'll be interesting where I think whether Brentford just wanted to just evaluate him. He hasn't had much game time as he would have liked. Having potentially up to 20, or I think 18, as you said, 18 league games left for Ipswich in the league, potentially maybe 3 more in the playoffs if you get there. I think having 20 odd games is in League One, playing at that top level, in that top half. I think it's a good indication of how much progress he would have made. So I think Brentford, they took the safe option of just extending his deal, of course, running him out, and then they get to see him having some regular, consistent football. He's been a squad rotation and cup player since he's been here. So I think this is a chance for him, to show what he's made of and what he can, bring possibly to Brentford if he wants to be part of that, part of the Premier League, the part of their Premier League plans going forward. But it depends. It depends how he does at Ipswich. He knows that. He's played 2 Premier League games. He would have been over the moon with that. Probably wouldn't have expected to, having been loaned out last year. So he knows that if he wants to be part of this again, he needs to he obviously needs to like play some regular football. And if it's a higher in League One level, then so be it. But obviously he needs to he'll need to be a lot more consistent and get some good game time and performances under his belt.
Perfect. It's interesting. I was reading, Martin, that the Brentford fans, you've got no cover now, have you? You've got Rico Henry, and was he the reserve? So would that mean that you bring someone in? I would have thought
there was I mean that's what a lot of fans have been rightly frustrated about. Obviously Thompson was realistically the only backup they had, but it's a strange one. I mean, there were links with Bologna's Aaron Hickey, who I think he was linked with Aston Villa as well, but there was also some links with Brentford, but nothing has materialized as we know. So also Sergi Canos can also deputize at left wing back as well. Player. So he's
been reinvented because he was a winger, wasn't he? And he's obviously one of these.
Love it, Sergi Canos.
I think he's a great player, man. And you see now with these teams, they're more. A lot of them they convert, don't they? Wingers they convert into fullbacks, don't they? And Canos he's done really well for you.
Yeah, he's been all right. He's been okay this season. He has had a few good and bad. He's had a mixture of performances, if I'm being honest. There was a game at Tottenham where he had a bit of a mare. It was a bit of an unfortunate own goal. The corner came in. I think the header cleared and then it went in off him. And then he was completely out of position for Region. I think had like the whole left flank to himself. And then Kane picked him up with a pass. He just raced down. He ended up putting on a plate for Son. So he's been all right. He's been okay. He's been good. He's been okay this season, if I'm being honest. But he's been all right. But I think Brentford need cover badly, and if they can get a wing back in, that would be great.
Okay. And as we close up the show, usually we thank you for your time and really do appreciate it on a Friday night. I know that you're busy this weekend with no football. You're keen to step away and enjoy your weekend. And we'll let you do that. So appreciate you coming on, Yuzi, and hopefully Brentford go on to stay in the Premier League, because if they do, that means it's one less place Norwich have got a chance of finishing in. So good luck. We honestly, we truly wish you all the best.
Yeah, no worries. We'll hopefully do you guys a favour on March the 5th. So that's all right.
We'll be hoping, looking and praying. But look after yourself. Enjoy your weekend, all right?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys, for having me. Take care. All the best for the season.
You. And you. Thank you. Crunch, as we close up, lots of comments coming in. Lee Bayliss is watching us in the middle of Asda. Love that. Love that. But one of the main questions coming in is Coulson. Where does this leave Hayden Coulson? Ask Rich. What's the latest?
I would have thought, you've got Kane Vincent-Young, he's got a 1-game ban. Matt Penny's coming back to fitness. Coulson's been training, but I can't see him staying at the football club, Martin. He needs to play football. He's obviously coming on loan. He's been a bit unlucky. He's had 2 injuries.
Yeah.
And he'll want to play football. He's at that stage of his career. If he's going to go back to Middlesbrough, we're on Friday night here. What have we got? 2 or 3 days until that window slams shut? If he doesn't get his future sorted, he's going to be just kicking his heels for the next 4 or 5 months, not playing football, and he's going to have to wait till August time. So I'd expect him to leave. And look, I wish Hayden Coulson all the best. I've been really impressed with him when I've seen him. I've made friends with his dad. His dad is a fantastic guy.
Friend.
You know, no, he is mine.
Friend.
Met him at Lincoln. Colin was there, and he's a real great guy. I speak to him on Twitter quite often.
I love Hayden Coulson, but I just thought it was a question that was coming into the chat quite a lot, so I thought I'd put it to the man that who's got many fingers in many pies and friends from all over the world and all over Suffolk. But
he just needs to play football. He needs to play football, and he's probably not going to play football at Town.
I will see you in a couple of minutes. I'll see you, hopefully, the viewer, in a couple of minutes. We're now going to jump over, join Mr. Phillips for the press conference.
Has he finished his dinner, though? That is the main topic of conversation.
But it was only pizza. So
it was only pizza. Very disappointing.
Yeah. He messaged me today saying, I think he was asking for some help in ideas. I didn't really give him anything. I don't know what he wanted. He might not have wanted that anyway. I just thought he did. But you've now got 5 minutes. Recharge those glasses. Get comfy, and we will see you in the other room. Welcome to Private Space Therapy, the business of our very own milk tray man, Ben Adams, who's a certified therapist and counsellor registered with the BACP. Ben's offering appointments face-to-face in Colchester on the beautiful university grounds, or by video, telephone, or even home visit. So if you do feel like you need someone professional to listen, to understand, and to discuss what's going on with you, give Private Space Therapy a call. Private Space Therapy. Non-judgmental, unconditional support with you at the centre always. Call 01206 259 311.